What up, my primal people? Today I'm going to be talking about what is an ego death and basically how an ego death feels. The ego death is usually correlated with psychedelic use, but I believe that it can happen at any time and it can happen really whenever, wherever. So hopefully you guys do enjoy me talking about the ego death. It's a very unique topic because not everyone goes through this and not everyone really knows what it is, and it can be different for everyone. So I'm just here to tell you basically what it feels like and what it does to a person. I really believe that every experience is just a new opportunity for growth, so I see this as no different. So let's get into it. So in a simple form, in a simple definition that Wikipedia has to offer us, it is a complete loss of subjective self-identity. So what that basically means is you, the person who is having an ego death, loses the sense of self. And that sense of self we're so accustomed to, we actually feel it every day of our lives. So what I mean by that is every day we're going through life, our ego is constantly basically controlling what we do and how we do it. We want to survive, we want to avoid danger, and we want to be as comfortable as possible. But also, it's weird because we also want to grow as humans as well. One of my biggest things is if you want to grow, you do have to be in an uncomfortable situation and put yourself out there. And that's when the most growth really happens. But as you can see, there's a lot of times where the ego actually holds you back in a way. But this could be looked at in a good or a bad way. Because in one way, it's trying to protect you. But in another way, it's holding you back from the potential of new growth and new personal development. It's a weird contrast, really. But the ego, I think, in general, is there to help you. But meditation and mindfulness throughout the day, doing yoga or whatever that is, just staying present and grounded in this moment can really help tame the ego in a way. Because sometimes that ego gets out of control. For example, think of if you're in a school project and you're really scared, you're nervous, you don't want to go up and present what you have to share. The whole time you're thinking, you're in a loop basically. You're saying to yourself, I don't want to do this. I'm going to embarrass myself. What are other people going to think of me? All these different things are running through your mind, but that is just there to help you because your ego perceives that as a threat. But in a way, you are making that threat bigger than it really is by constantly replaying that. Humans are crazy. The human brain is crazy, I should say, because it has the ability to basically put itself in future scenarios and act like it is real life. Think of during the day. You can plan your whole day and not even have done a thing yet. You can say, oh, I'm going to do this, 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 and this is how I'm going to execute it. And you can have this whole formulated plan in your head. And that's very useful in a way. And especially back in the day when we were hunter and gatherers, then that was extremely useful because we could plan and cooperate with other humans to basically take down an animal and to get a game plan together to survive and thrive as best as we can. So now we're in a place, especially America, where, there are threats. There are real threats. Don't get me wrong. But I don't want to say that coming from an ignorant standpoint compared to back in the day when you were posed with threats of, let's just say, an attack from another tribe or an attack from a bear. Something where your body goes into fight or flight mode, and it's very useful because you have two options. One is to run and protect yourself, and the other is to fight. If you take an anxious person, their mind is constantly in fight or flight mode. It can all depend on what triggers that fight or flight mode. But it could be something as simple as, like I said, going up for a speech, or even people with social anxiety. A social gathering or a social confrontation can trigger that fight or flight response. And I'm not here to say that I have a solution for it necessarily because personally I struggle with it as well. Throughout my life, I have been an anxious person, and I go through times that I can tell that my adrenaline's pumping through my veins and I am in a fight or flight mode. And even when there's no external threat, my mind perceives there to be one. That can get in the way of a lot of daily activities, and basically it can get in the way of your overall quality of life, because when you're in that state, it's not really a good mindset to be in when there's no external threat, when you don't need to be in that mode. People who are always stressed out and on edge, I just feel bad for because I can relate to that. I know that they're feeling a certain way, and their body's telling them that they have to feel that way. But I'm here to tell you that the ego is your friend, but you have to learn how to tame it. You have to learn to befriend it, basically. And I have made a video about the monkey mind, stuff like that. And the monkey mind is basically just anxiety. It's basically a looping thought pattern that keeps you in the same state of mind and constantly just stressed out and freaked out. So, like I said, there are reasons to be in fight or flight mode. Let's say you're taking your kid out for some ice cream and you're with your wife, and basically all you're trying to do is mind your own business. And all of a sudden, a guy walks up with a gun and aims it at you and says, "Give me all your money." The fight or flight mode in that instance would be very beneficial because you're posed with two options, which are fight or flight. So when you're in a scenario like that, a life or death scenario, I feel like it's very useful. You need to be in that state to be able to make the right decision and make it as best as you can. I know that sometimes in that state you can get a little flustered, so it is a little bit contradicting, but what I'm trying to say here is that basically your body goes into a specific mode. There's a lot of physical things that your body does tend to do in a fight or flight mode, and those are all there to help you get out of a certain scenario and be as safe as you can. In that regard, I do think it is very useful. So if this is constantly happening on a daily basis or on a weekly basis, you can see that it can be detrimental to your mental and physical health in a whole. The ego death is very scary for some, but also it can open doors that maybe never could have been opened before without experiencing. Basically, it's just like a physical death, except it's just all in your head. It's your mind's experience of dying, basically. You might look at this and say, well, how is mentally dying going to benefit me in any way? It can really benefit you in a way of showing you that you aren't just your ego. You aren't just your thoughts. You are experiencing and you are here right now. That is all we know for sure. All these thoughts going on inside your brain are just thoughts. And they're just that. All these feelings are just feelings. All these emotions are just emotions. And they're very real. That's the thing. They are a real experience. All you are is a memory. Every day you tell yourself, you wake up and you remember who you are, you remember who you were, you remember certain things about your character that make you the person that you are. People with a mental health condition such as Alzheimer's disease, then, you can see that it can completely change one's experience. It's kind of crazy and it's sad to think about, but there is a lot of suffering in the world. And with an ego death, you get a glimpse of not knowing who you are. Basically, what I'm trying to portray to you guys is this ego death can be looked at in a good or bad way. It can really change how you look at the world, and I think that it can help a lot of people let go. Psychedelics are used, I look at them as a medicine, and they're used as such. I mean, people can use them as party drugs. A popular psychedelic is mushrooms. Psilocybin is the main psychoactive ingredient, and then LSD as well. Those are the two main ones that I know. I mean, there's ayahuasca, there's all these different types, there's DMT as well. And all these can produce the same ego dissolution or the ego death. Ceremonies such as the ayahuasca ceremony or even taking mushrooms, it can help people at the end of life stage let go. And it really shows them that you are just experience. You don't have to attach yourself to all these memories that you tell yourself that you are every single day. That doesn't define who you are. All you are is a vibration. We are just energy in a certain form. Everything in this world changes forms, and it's just crazy to me. I'm not here saying that I have all the answers. I'm just here to entertain the mind, entertain some thoughts, and really help some people if I can. This is just a video of diving into what the ego death is and, how it can actually help people in a way if they take it the right way and if they really choose to learn from it. And at the end of the day, let go. An ego death is the real teacher of letting go. Any struggles you may find yourself in, I personally think that it is always good to let go. The fact that nothing's permanent kind of makes it seem silly to hold on to anything. If you hold on to something that's not permanent, you're going to suffer. So if you can willingly let go and just go with the flow, basically, then, you can save yourself from a lot of suffering and a lot of hard times mentally and physically because the mind and body are connected. And if you're going through anxiety or depression, whatever mental illness you may be going through, you can see that there are a lot of physical symptoms as well. It's not just all mental. There are a lot of physical manifestations that can happen during these mental states. Letting go can just help with that. And I'm not saying that this is for everyone. I'm not even promoting psychedelics. From the research that I've done and from my own experiences in general, I've seen how this plant, this medicine, can help so many people and really change their view on the world. It can open a new door that you might have never knew even existed. Hopefully you guys do enjoy this video. I do put a lot of effort into these, and I do just want to help people. So if I did, make sure to like this video and make sure to subscribe down below as well. If you have any comments or questions, let me know because I'd be more than happy to answer any one of them. So thank you guys for watching, and more importantly, thank you guys for staying primal. This is Eric Slavin, Planet Primal, out.